What is up, baseball fans, Mets fans? Let's get into today's video. And today's video is going to be the top 5 prospect that the Mets have in their system right now. And their top 100 prospects, they have 5 top 100 prospects in all of baseball right now in their system. That is unbelievable. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into overall this video. Man, okay, so we got Luis Angel Acuna, who is the number 40 prospect, MLB prospect for the Mets. Definitely was a big trade, the big Max Scherzer trade from, to Texas. And Luis Angel Acuna, who is Ronald Acuna Jr.'s brother, definitely a top prospect on his own. Number 40 in MLB prospects. That is not easy to do. He stood out as one of the best players all around in 2022. Acuna attacks pitches with an explosive right-handed stroke and has a very aggressive approach. And he has plus speed, unbelievable speed. In 2023 all alone, he has 52 stolen bases, and probably more than that right now. So just in general, over 50 stolen bases is insane for Luis Angel Acuna. He has 7 home runs on the season. And, listen, Luis Angel Acuna is a big prospect for the Mets system, and his ETA is going to be 2024. So possibly he could be in the majors in 2024 if he has a really good AAA season next year. Well, it all depends on, the Mets approach and what they see for him in the future. But definitely this is a big prospect for the Mets, future. This guy's a shortstop, also can play second base. And with Francisco Lindor being your shortstop for the next, 8 years or whatever it is, Luis Angel Acuna is not going to be the shortstop for the New York Mets. So he's probably going to be the second baseman. And, McNeil will probably have to move over to right field or left field or whatever. But listen, the Mets have this guy, and this guy comes with plus speed. Is unbelievable speed this guy has. Like I said, over 50 stolen bases. That is insane, and man, the average 299 on the season, definitely 7 home runs. Man, RBIs 48, OPS, 788. This guy is, going to be a plus player for the Mets. I really see him being a really good player for the New York Mets. But overall, guys, in the Mets system, he's the number 1 prospect. He is the number 1 prospect now in the Mets system. And he's only 21 years old, which is insane. So the fact that, the Mets got this guy from the Max Scherzer trade is insane because, man, Max Scherzer is almost going to be 40 years old, and you got a young 21-year-old, shortstop / second baseman of your future. That is a great thing for the Mets, and I hope he works out for the Mets. And, man, it gets better, man. It just gets better. So we have also, the next prospect that I'm going to be talking about is going to be Drew Gilbert. Definitely, guys, a big trade. With Justin Verlander trade to the Astros, Drew Gilbert, who was the first-round draft pick in, 2022. Definitely, listen, Drew Gilbert is a guy that is an outfielder. He comes with an extremely aggressive, a swing overall, but he's aggressive in every single case. He runs aggressive. He plays aggressive. He plays with fire. He plays like fire's on his head. He has so much energy. And yeah, man, his superb. He has superb hand-eye coordination. Definitely, and that enables him to barrel up the balls. And man, this guy has over 14 home runs now in AA with the Mets. And, man, this guy is just talented. He's just talented. He has some speed as well. He has some power. The batting average is over 280. Definitely, he's a guy that you want on the team. And he's going to be a big part of the Mets' future for sure. And he's the 56th MLB best prospect in all of baseball right now in 2023. And he's only 22 years old. His ETA is probably going to be 2025. I don't see that, happening. I think he's probably going to maybe, make the team, maybe next year, or maybe it could be 2025. It all depends on the development and how he does in AAA, because definitely he's in AA right now. But he's a guy that comes with, high exit velocity on the ball. He's a guy that barrels up balls. He's a guy that just has some speed. He plays with fire on his head. He has so much energy. And that's what you love about, Drew Gilbert. And I really think he's going to be a plus player for the Mets. And, I think the Justin Verlander trade, it was a great trade for the Mets to get this young guy that's 2022, that's 22 years old, and, that was drafted in 2022. And, he was a first round draft pick, and the overall pick was 28. So, listen, Drew Gilbert is talented. He has a lot to offer to this team, in the future. And, man, overall, 14 home runs, stolen bases, 43. So, he has some speed. He comes with a lot. So that's what you like about, Drew Gilbert. His OPS is 810, over 810. So listen, Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna, these guys are going to be very important to the Mets' future. It all depends on the development, on, what happens with the New York Mets and, what they want to do. But definitely Drew Gilbert will be playing outfield for this team because they lack outfielders. And the fact that they got Drew Gilbert, he is going to be playing in the major leagues for the Mets in maybe 2025 or maybe late 2024. But yeah, man, that's really it for those two prospects. Let's get into the third prospect that I want to talk about, and that is Jett Williams. And this guy is standing at 5'6". Williams, man, he's continued to impress the Mets officials with his ability to find the barrel consistently and swing at good pitches to hit. And, those skills combined with the capacity to handle velocity, it just shows he's been really, really good for, for the Mets. And this guy, is only 19 years old, but he is the 83rd best prospect in all of baseball right now, and the number 3 prospect in the Mets organization. And his ETA is going to be 2026. He was the first round draft pick, definitely, for the Mets. So this guy has a lot to offer, man. Jett Williams is having a really, really good season so far, and he's killing it with the Cyclones right now. Every time, Jett Williams is killing it. He's really killing it with the Cyclones. He's hitting for power. He's hitting the ball consistently, and he has a good average, and he's just getting better. And he's only 19 years old. He's only 19 and has an OPS of 838 on the season. And Jett Williams has 9 home runs on the season, and man, the batting average is 270 right now. 75 hits on the season, 40 plus RBIs. And, stolen bases, 37, So this guy is very, very talented, has, plus speed as well. And this guy, definitely came up as a shortstop with the Mets, but definitely they have changed his positions and they want him in the outfield. They want him playing everywhere. So possibly you will see Jett Williams playing the outfield for the New York Mets in 2026. Now, I don't know exactly, it all depends on the development. I think this kid could be, in the majors by 2025. I really think he could. He's very, very talented. He's really good at swinging at good pitches. And yeah, man, that's really a big thing for him. And I think he's going to be also another plus player for the New York Mets. And yeah, man, I really think, Jett Williams is very, very talented. And we'll see what happens, man. But the Mets definitely have a lot of talent right now. Like I said, top 5, 100 prospects. And yeah, Jett Williams is definitely one of them. 83 MLB prospect in 2023. That is not easy to do for a 19-year-old, guys. It just got to hit you. He's 19 years old. It's unbelievable. Wow. Now, let's get into another prospect, and we got Ronnie Mauricio, 22 years old on the season, definitely having a really good season with AAA, hitting over, 290, has over 20 stolen bases now, over 20 home runs. This guy is very, very, very talented. You know, came up as a shortstop. And, you know, the Mets this season have, you know, changed his direction of his positions and where he was going. So he's been playing the outfield. He's been playing second base. So, listen, Ronnie Mauricio is a guy that he is, you know, the 92nd best prospect in all of baseball right now. Number 4 in the Mets organization. His ETA says 2023, but man, I don't know if the Mets are going to bring him up this season. Maybe they're going to wait till next season, 2024, and bring him up. But, you know, I've been an advocate for Mauricio his whole career with the Mets. I've been wanting him, you know, definitely this season. I've always wanted him to come to the Mets. I always wanted him to, you know, play with the Major League team. But the Mets just haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. And they have their reasons. You know, Mauricio, you know, definitely, you know, expands the strike zone a lot, you know, and takes massive cuts. And, you know, particularly, you know, against the spin rate. And you know, and he does have a 4.4% walk rate, which is the lowest among the Mets minor league qualifiers, which is, you look at that and you look at, you know, the Mets organization is an organization that likes to, you know, for guys to have good on-base percentage and, you know, take their walks. And that's what the Mets organization likes to do. Now, you look at examples like Francisco Alvarez, and he is a guy that is aggressive at the plate, definitely does not walk a lot. But, you know, in the major leagues, he's learned to walk more. He's learned to be better with that. And I feel Ronnie Mauricio can definitely do that. I feel like he's a very, very talented player. He hits the ball in high exit velocities. You know, I think he's going to be a big time prospect for the New York Mets, and I really think he's very, very talented. You know, he's big, he's strong, he has power, and you know, over 20 stolen bases, over 20 home runs. That is great for him, and I like the fact that Ronnie Mauricio is staying confident. He's staying to his approach, and he's also a switch hitter, which I forgot to mention just now, but he is a switch hitter, so he can hit from the left side and the right side. So he's just so talented, and I think he has a big future with this Mets team. And I know a lot of Mets fans, you know, want him to come up this year in 2023. But it just doesn't look like the Mets are going to pull the trigger on that. We'll see in September whether they bring him up, but I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna hold my breath with this call up for Mauricio in September. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think they want him to, you know, still develop and maybe come up in 2024 and help the team in 2024. And also, you know, yeah, so I really love Mauricio. I love what he brings to the table. He's very, very talented. I think he has a lot to offer to this team. And, you know, the Mets organization is the Mets, you know, that's the organization that has to pull the trigger on him. So, you know, I'm not the Mets manager. I'm not the Mets GM. So, yeah, man, I can't do nothing about that, but just talk about how I love Mauricio and I love what he brings to the table. And yeah, man, he's so talented, and I can't wait to see him in the major leagues. I'm going to be his biggest fan. I've been following him his whole career. Now, let's get into another prospect, and this is going to be the last prospect that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and that is Kevin Parada, who is the 95th best prospect in all of baseball. And yes, he has made it to the top 100 prospect, 95th MLB prospect, number 5 in the Mets organization. He's 22 years old. You know, his caught stealing rate has gradually improved from his freshman to sophomore years, but his general arm strength still checks in at a below average. So you look at guys like Francisco Alvarez, who doesn't have the best arm in the world. He has a pretty good arm, but his defense is not great. So Kevin Parada's defense is also not great, but he's still learning. He's getting better, and he's having a pretty good season, you know, definitely with the Mets this season. You know, over 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, batting average 270 on the season. So look, Kevin Parada is definitely, 22 years old. His ETA is 2025. And I think Kevin Parada is going to be, I don't know exactly what the Mets are going to do with Kevin Parada. I don't know if they're just going to trade him. I don't know exactly what the future holds for Kevin Parada, but I think he is a top 100 prospect, and that is good for the Mets to have. And, behind the plate, but he is a work in progress behind the plate, and that is something that definitely you see with Francisco Alvarez, who was a work in progress behind the plate still. And, but Francisco Alvarez is getting better every single day as a catcher. And his offensive approach is unbelievable, But Kevin Parada hit 22 home runs in college. So, listen, he has power. And he hit, he's hit over 10 home runs now in his season currently. So, his OPS is 796. He's had a really good season so far. And he's 22 years old. So, yeah, man, I really think Kevin Parada is a good prospect. I don't know exactly what the Mets are going to do for him in the future. There's just certain guys that I know that possibly, are going to make an impact. Definitely Drew Gilbert is going to be playing the outfield for the Mets for sure, being an outfielder. And Ronnie Mauricio and Luis Angel Acuna's future, now that is to be seen. Definitely the Mets overall, they want guys to, play different positions and be versatile, just like Jeff McNeil, for an example. So we'll see what happens, in the next coming years. But definitely, guys, that is the Mets top 105 prospects in all of baseball right now. MLB prospects top 100. So, man, I think that the Mets have a bright future. With these guys, I think a lot of these guys are going to make an impact. Definitely, I think Ronnie Mauricio is going to make a sooner impact because he is literally, right there, in AAA, and he is having a really, really good season. So maybe we'll see him in 2024. Maybe. If we don't, then I don't know what the Mets were thinking. But at the end of the day, the Mets organization is going to do what they want to do. And yeah, man, they have a lot of talent. They are getting better. And yeah, we'll see what happens, in the next coming seasons. But I'm definitely excited about the Mets' future. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I love you guys so much. Appreciate you, And yeah, man, this is All Things Mets Media, where you get your latest Mets media. And I'm out of here.